Hello everyone, I'm Aeshmah, and I'm gonna be running the Ghost of Tsushima Iki Island New Game Plus category for you. Now, just to clearly explain what this category is, we will have the main game, which is happening on Tsushima Island, which we are on right now. However, once I talk to this little gentleman over here, he will ferry us over to Iki Island, which is a new island that was introduced with the Director's Cut upgrade of Ghost of Tsushima, and that is what we're gonna play here. We'll be doing all the main quests, and we will actually go ahead and do them on lethal difficulty, lethal being the hardest difficulty option of the game. And since this is about a 1 hour run, why don't you just go ahead and save all the other explanations for when we actually are on the islands. So let's just go ahead and talk to this gentleman here, and as soon as I accept that he will ferry me over, the timer will start. So let's get this show running in 3, 2, 1, go. And with that, as every great speedrun, this one also starts with a 1-minute unskippable cutscene, because of course it does. So as you will see in just a moment here, our transfer to Iki Island doesn't exactly go as planned, I want to say. It's we have a bit of a slight hiccup happening here. Just like that. So obviously, as you might guess, we have been separated from our trusty horse. So the first thing that we actually have to do once we arrive on Iki Island is to find our trusty horse, because we want to go around the island as fast as we can. Now, while we have this intersection here, I cannot run or move any faster at the moment because Jin is kind of injured from being shipwrecked. So I just will walk slowly along the shore here. Let me go ahead and explain the Terrify mechanic, because that is actually something that is of utter importance for the run and for the game as well. Now, Terrify is a mechanic in the game that makes it so that if an enemy gets terrified, they will drop their weapon and immediately flee the battlefield, which then makes them count as being defeated. So you don't actually have to go and follow them and kill them in order to proceed with an encounter. Now, the thing is, with the armor that I'm wearing right now, which is the Ghost armor, this has a perk that makes it so whenever I kill an enemy, I have a 40% chance that another enemy gets terrified. That's all well and good, but first of all, let's take a look at Iki Island, because it is just drop dead gorgeous. I mean, I could go for a vacation here. I don't know about you guys. I could definitely see that. So I have to wait for the game to actually resume control. And now we're just gonna make our way along the shore here in order to try and find our horse, which is also the first bit of RNG, because I could run into an enemy patrol on the way to the shipwreck. And that would be kind of bad if I would get spotted by them, because in order for me to activate the next quest trigger, I have to be out of combat. So let's hope that we are just lucky and don't run into a patrol here. Going further with the Terrify mechanic, because there is a patrol over there, but I think I can just circumvent them by going a little further to the left. The Ghost armor has a 40% base chance of terrifying an enemy. However, we can increase that with more charms. Charms being items that you can equip onto your armor sets, and they give you passive bonuses like increased damage, decreased damage to you, greater health, stuff like that. And we just basically load up the Ghost armor with increased percentage chances. So this 40% chance of a Terrify happening actually ends up being like a 90% chance. So whenever I kill an enemy, there is a 90% chance roundabout that another enemy will just flee the battle. And that's pretty great, because not only do we have that, but we also equip another charm that makes it so whenever I set an enemy on fire, other enemies have another, I think, 20% chance of getting terrified and fleeing. And you can already kind of guess what's going to happen during this one, because we will use a lot of fire-based attacks, a lot of explosions, to try and get rid of loads of enemies really fast. And that is what basically makes the speedrun work, and how we get through most of the encounters. But for now, we have now found some horse tracks that will lead us up this hill. Well, not this particular hill, but close-ish enough. And once we follow it, we can actually go ahead and find our horse again. So let's just go over to this bush right here.
That sound, they're close.
And there is Nobu.
He needs me. Or not.
And now we do our first bit of combat. Actually, I'm not gonna do what I just explained to you, because for whatever reason, these enemies are immune to being terrified. So I just have to, you know, use the normal tactics that you would do in order to dispatch of them. And now that we get our horse back, it actually learned a new ability by, you know, being alone for a couple of while, which is the horse chargeability, which you saw it do when it was surrounded by the Mongols. And this is now an active ability that we can use while on horseback, as long as we have resolve, which are these golden orbs in the lower left corner. And what the horse charge allows me to do is basically this, which is pretty great because you can make short work of all of these enemies. Now what I want to do here is just charge through these guys. I need a little bit of resolve to charge through these guys up there on the hill in a very particular fashion. So I want to charge through these, then... see, that is exactly what I did not want to happen, because I wanted to charge through the other guy that was standing right here in order to make him flee, because now I have to, once again, go ahead and fight him normally, which takes a little bit more time than I would have liked. But that is the first quest of the Iki Island campaign already done.
That's twice you saved my life.
We just have a little bit of a misunderstanding here, because that dude was actually referring to our horse and not to us, which makes us a little bit sad, but oh well, I guess that's life for you. Now, in order to start the next main quest, what is supposed to happen is Jin wants to go to Fort Sakai, which is basically the main enemy stronghold on this island. And well, you should just go on up to, you know, the front door. You would get overwhelmed there and captured. However, what we do as speedrunners is we actually want to go ahead and get a fast travel point before we do that. So I will just write down this hill in order to acquire this fast travel point. It's just behind those bushes over there. And then I will dismount and goad these enemies into attacking me. And I flight. Oh no. Whatever are we gonna do about that? Well, it doesn't actually matter, because the cutscene that is supposed to start when you get overwhelmed in Fort Sakai, which is actually up on that mountain over there, still happens, because it will always happen as long as you are in a certain radius around Fort Sakai. So this actually, you know, saves us quite a lot of time in getting this fast travel point and then still getting captured and, you know, basically teleporting up to Fort Sakai here in order to progress with the main story. Which is a nice little skip, I want to say. But yeah, you know, we've been captured now. The main antagonist of Iki Island, the eagle, you know, the leader of this Mongol tribe, fed us some poisoned soup, I want to say. So Jin is now, or tends to have a lot of hallucinations while we go through the main story on Iki Island, which is a major plot point. So for now, you know, we've just been freed by Yuna over here from our captivity. So now we're trying to make our way out of here.
Iki Island resents Clan Sakai. It will be hard to get.
So this is a pretty linear affair. Also, whenever you are in, or most of the time, an NPC accompanies you and you have these little walkie-talkie sections, you know, where you're just going from one end to another while your characters are having a conversation, all of your movement speed is slowed down. However, your jumping speed is not. So in order to go fast during these sections, what we do is we just bunny hop from one end to the next, because it is the fastest form of movement that is allowed to us during these sections. Now we just have to go over here. Lovely place, lots of red. And yeah, well, I don't know if you actually want to go down there. Yuna is insisting on it though, and we are gonna have another nightmare section coming up. This, once again, is just a It's basically a story section. There's nothing of importance that we can do here speedrun-wise. We just have to get to the end. So we're gonna try and do that as fast as we can. So let's see. If you have anything to plug, now would be an absolutely wonderful time to do so.
Alright, well, I do have a $2 donation from non-binary code who says, no comment. Except that one. This one doesn't count. As well as a $3 donation from non-binary code who says, okay, this time seriously, no comment. Oh, dang it. Well, trans rights anyway.
Alright, thank you for those donations. Sounds like somebody doesn't exactly know how to write no comment, I guess. But, you know, I guess with some more donations, they can learn as well. As can you. You know, you. Yes, you. Watching this speedrun right now. Donate to charity. It's a good cause.
Wished I had drowned.
But as you can see, you know, Jin isn't exactly having a good time during this, well, nightmare section, I want to say. He's dreaming about his father and how that guy was disappointed in him and how his clan got murdered and how the eagle is now talking to us forcing us into a guilt trip and yeah, it's some pretty bad stuff. Luckily, we are just about done with it. And what is at the end of every tunnel? Well, obviously there is a light there that we can run towards. Well, let's go into the light, everybody! One more shocker, which you're gonna skip. Nobody saw that. And now we're gonna meet Tenzo. Tenzo will basically become our best friend on Iki Island. He is one of the raiders, one of the native Japanese settlers of Iki Island, which are fighting back against the Mongol invasion here. And we are kinda in a, well, uneasy alliance with him. Because what actually happened story-wise is Jin's family, especially his father, previously came to Iki Island to conquer it for mainland Tsushima, bring it under shogun rule, and the raiders resisted that. And you know, there's a little bit of a battle of interests here, conflict of interest. Sorry. Now I want to go over this bridge as fast as I can, as long as this hallucination is still happening, because if I were to cross this bridge while I was not in a hallucination, another hallucination would start, which would cost me about 2 minutes or so. So especially for the speedrun, it is of utmost importance to get over that bridge while this particular hallucination is still happening. I only do that to grab another fast travel point, this one right here. Now I will actually fast travel back to the other one that we got before we started the last quest. Because what the Iki Island expansion loves to do with its main quest, it just ping-pongs you back and forth between the west and the east coast of Iki Island. So having, you know, a fast travel point at both ends just really speeds up the amount of travel on a horseback that we have to do. For now that we have both fast travel options, we will now make our way over to where Tenzo is waiting to show us to the raiders' hideout, where hopefully we can meet a couple more allies in order to fight back against the Mongols, because obviously Jin can't do it all on his own, but then again, gameplay wise he totally could, because he is basically in gameplay terms a one-man army, at least after a while, once you've unlocked a couple of specific abilities and tools and whatnot. For now, here is Tenzo. Let's have a quick talk to him, and after that we have another walkie-talkie section with him, because he obviously has to tell us a little bit more about the raiders that are holed up here. So we will jump. Jumpy, jumpy, jumpy. Another thing that has happened when we got captured, this actually reduces the amount of tools that you have. You know, I have a bow with a couple arrows and bombs on me and stuff like that before I came to Iki Island. However, once you get captured, all of these things get reduced by a more or less random amount. And depending on which of my tools got reduced in ammunition, this specific speedrun can be a lot slower or a lot faster, because we actually are not gonna go to a merchant during this category, because there is no merchant like in on the way. You would have to go quite a ways out in order to be able to restock on arrows and stuff. So this sadly is a huge RNG part here. But for now, we'll just, again, quickly clear out these Mongols. Using our fire sword, hopefully that will terrify some other guys. Apparently it did, because we barely had to fight anybody, which is great. Great outcome, actually. That was a very fast fight. I couldn't be happy with that. It's just a little bit unlucky that Tenzo was so far away, so we had to wait for him to actually catch up to us here. And wasted a little bit of time, but otherwise that was a pretty clean fight after all. The enemy I was actually trying to fight here, and for which I ignited my sword, was a shaman. Those are new enemy types that have been introduced with the Iki Island expansion. And what they do, they are more or less buffers to all the other enemies in the encounter. So what they do is they will hang back and do these chants. And if the enemies get enchanted, basically, their attack power increases, all of their attacks become unblockable attacks, so you have to dodge them. They gain more health, or rather more damage reduction, and just overall give you a very hard time. So whenever you are in an encounter with a shaman, you do want to go for the shamans as quickly as you can, just in order to reduce the effectiveness of all the other enemies in the encounter.
It was a gift from a brilliant friend.
We're just making our way down to the Raiders hideout. Ooh, we just barely made the jump. Luckily this game has an autosave function. You could have died there.
You're welcome to join me.
Making our way over here. Keep this stick neutral, otherwise Jin will not grab this log right there, and you actually do fall to your death. Nothing too bad. You will just start back out on the jumping section, but obviously you will lose your time. Same with this jump that I did right here, since you cannot see the ground. But if you were to just hit the ground without rolling, you would actually die. So you just kind of have to feel where the ground is when you do this roll, because the camera actually wrestles control away from you to show you this naval battle going on. Which, as speedrunners, we're not really interested in that stuff. But the camera thinks we are.
He is luring you into a den of murder.
And as I said before, this is a common occurrence on Iki Island, these hallucinations where the eagle more or less talks to Jin and basically mocks him. It's kind of... to be honest, I found it a little bit annoying during my casual playthrough, because it happens quite often and it just completely gets you out of the gameplay experience, which is something that I not enjoy too much, I want to say. I mean, it's nice for story purposes, absolutely, because there's a lot to unpack in these sequences, but during a speedrun, it's just like, yeah, okay, I guess we have to do this again. Speaking of, hey, we have to do this again, we have another walkie-talkie section with Tenzo while he is showing us around the Raiders hideout. However, we will just go over here and wait for him to finish, because he's having a conversation an hour back. Once the conversation is over, the camera will pan over to this house though. So by just centering there already, I can actually see where I'm gonna go in a moment. So once we see Fune approach, we can actually just run over here, because she is the person that we have to talk to next. Just quickly gonna grab some more supplies and go talk to her on the rooftop. And with that, we have already finished the third quest on Iki Island. Now that we've done that, we can now go over to the east part of the island, where we grabbed the fast roll option a little bit earlier, in order to go and start the fourth quest, which is actually pretty interesting in the way it's being handled. Because I explained to you the Terraform mechanic a little bit earlier, right? For some reason, once we get to a certain part during the next quest, we cannot terrify any of the enemies anymore. Only for that particular encounter, but still, it's a odd thing to happen. We don't know why this is. It's just that whatever you do, you cannot terrify those enemies. I guess they are just that battle hardened or something. I have no idea. Anyway, first of all, we have to make our way over to the scene of the battle that is about to take place. Just grab a couple things along the way. And then I guess we're gonna be a funny samurai today. So let's pick that dialogue choice.
The worst thing that happened to Jin from Yarikawa.
haunted by visions of this withered sailor. Half drunk, breath that stinks of rotten shellfish. He keeps eyeing my katana like he wants to steal it.
You're funny. For a samurai. You know the drill.
I mean, I don't know if that was particularly funny, but apparently Chenzo thinks it was. So I guess that counts. Anyway, we can still terrify these enemies. So let's quickly go ahead and whip out our fire sword.
More on the way. Take them. Can't draw more attention.
And then we'll go ahead and throw our first... Oh, okay. Guess we'll just die for a second there. Luckily, I did have enough resolve to use Iron Will, which is kind of a resurrection ability, so to speak. As long as you have 3 resolve, you can get back up should you get downed. And now we come to the part that I explained earlier, where we cannot terrify these enemies anymore once we get over to the boat here.
Fall back. No.
So we will switch over to the Sakai armor, which compared to the ghost armor is loaded out with a lot of damage increasing charms, so we can actually deal a lot of damage to the enemies there and hopefully kill them with one hit. Now, since I did, well, die on the shore back there, I don't have enough resolve to use the Dance of Wrath at the moment, which would allow me to make this swimming section a little bit faster by a glitch, which lets you slide along the water, making this travel here a little bit faster, but, oh well, yeah, it happens.
Murdering your father. What was that prayer again?
So we'll just get on this boat, and our objective now is to kill all the enemies on the boat and around it.
Be quiet.
So this is one of the more stressful sections during the run, because there are, as you can see, a lot of enemies around here. And since I actually died, I have to restart from this section over, which is a little bit out of the way, but you can already see the boat there. Normally this is the intended way for you to approach the boat, but it is way slower to get over there. So we generally tend to go through the water. And now we're just gonna try this again, and hopefully don't die this time. Oh god. Was able to get away from there in time. It's fine though. Oh, okay, all the other guys are over there. Probably I missed someone behind me. Okay, anybody else? Oh yeah, all the way over there. Ah, that is really unfortunate that they were this far apart from each other. And it's an archer too. Okay. Is that everybody? Hello? Oh, where did you come from? Okay. Once this hallucination starts, you know that you've actually killed everybody down here, so it is now time that we make our way up here.
It wasn't my fault.
And deal with these people. Just go ahead and make quick work of these. As you can see, with the Sakai armor equipped, you can make short work of all these guys. They generally tend to die in one hit, except for the tougher enemies. Okay, just gonna quickly take care of these guys up here. I think that was the last one. It was. And now we'll make our way over to the other boat that we are actually supposed to destroy, because this was also just the supply boat that we now secured for ourselves. And with the supply boat, we can now make our way over to the war galleon, and that is the one that we actually want to sink. This will basically function the same way as it did before. You just have to kill all the enemies. Once again, we cannot terrify these in any way. So we have to manually, quote-unquote, fight all the enemies over here. Right, that should buy us a little bit of time to go over there without getting hit. I said without getting hit, game. And then just have a big ol' battle on the ship. Make sure that we actually kill everybody, because our NPC allies are not exactly the most proficient one in actually killing all these guys. Sadly enough. You can't just have 5 of your allies try to kill one enemy at a time, and it just looks ludicrous. And that was everybody. We now go down here. Couple smoke bombs so these guys don't get in our way, and then we just have to ignite the gunpowder. And that takes care of the rest. Alright, done. Warship destroyed. Victory for us. Hooray! So now that we have been able to accomplish that, the raiders now actually trust us, and they will, well, let's just say they trust us with more, with some harder tasks. So we are now, well, tasked with rescuing some more of their people from Fort Sakai. You know, the thing that we were supposed to infiltrate at the beginning of the run, which we didn't do because we died and got captured and all that stuff. So let's just grab some stuff. Talk to Fune, who is upstairs, not downstairs. She is downstairs later.
Well done, Jin.
And then we'll just actually try and go ahead and infiltrate Fort Sakai. Lovely stuff. So switch outfits again, because we now can terrify enemies again. And we'll go back to the fast travel point that we unlocked way at the beginning of the run. And we'll make our way up to Fort Sakai. And in the meantime, if you have anything to plug, SC, I think this would be a wonderful time to do so again.
Well, I do have one thing to mention, which is we have another incentive that's been unlocked.
Ooh.
There will be a 3 chapters run of Wilder Myth later by Ferric Fox, and we need some character names for that. So this is a little unique in that instead of just one name, the top name, being picked, the top 3 names will be used for the run.
Oh, that sounds like a good deal to me. So guys, why don't you go ahead and, you know, donate to that in the meantime? I mean, when is that run happening?
That happens later during our on-site block.
Nice.
So there's still a fair amount of time for that.
But, you know, it's never too early to start donating, guys. So go ahead, grab those wallets and donate to charity. While I just go ahead and just absolutely run these guys over with my trusty horse. Okay, with all of these guys taken care of.
Is this really happening?
Okay, we actually took care of all of them, which is pretty great.
Are you with Fune?
That helps. So yeah, these are the guys that we are supposed to rescue. There are a couple more inside the fort, so let's see if you can rescue all of them, shall we?
You couldn't save your father. What makes you think you can save his fort?
No, don't listen.
Alright. So this is a lot of fighting coming up now, because, you know, we have a lot of friends on our side, there are a lot of enemies, and we have more shamans. So, as always, take care of the shamans first, because they are annoying. They buff all the other guys. We don't want that. The ones we have done that. We'll go ahead and 3 more people. Make sure that everybody here is taken care of. Because as you can see, our friends are not exactly the most competent in doing that. And we do have to kill every enemy around here in order to be able to progress. So it is in our best interest to kill all the enemies, or rather make sure that all of them are defeated. Let's get more people. And then fight the guys over here. Free even more guys. And now we gotta defeat the remaining Mongols, if I knew where they were. Oh! Our friends actually killed all of them. It's good. We will now switch over to the Kensai armor set for just a second here. Because what we did, there is a charm in the game that makes it so when you fall from a particular height, you can regain your resolve. And since we have a quote-unquote boss fight coming up, we want all the resolve that we can get. And this is basically the quickest way to make sure that we have all the resolve that we need for the duel coming. Which is a neat thing to have. Like, we were really looking for a way to incorporate that charm into the run. And then we just poison that guy. Make sure that we kill these eagle warriors. Shaman over there fled already. So we just have to take care of these guys. Oh, the shaman didn't flee. What? I thought he did. At least it looked to me like he did. Okay, with that out of the way, we switch back to the Sakai armor. Because as I said before, we do have a duel coming up, which serves as the game's boss fights. And obviously you cannot terrify the enemies during the boss fight, so we just gonna have to fight him quote-unquote normally. With, you know, normally meaning we actually have to deal damage to him. However, yeah, there's an ability that makes all these duels like really easy, which is the Dance of Wrath. So instead of a duel, it's more like a dance-off. And what that entails, well, we'll see in just a second here. So he comes at me, and I dance.
You will hang like the peasants. You wasted gift. You could have served the eagle. I will never be her.
So that was the first Dance of Wrath. This is the second one.
Where is your gratitude?
There's nothing less.
And once more. And that was the boss fight. Nice and easy. So what the game now expects me to do is to follow Kunbish, the guy we just fought, because he is running away from us. We kind of want to finish him, but instead I would just go through the window over here. And over that. And now we are actually in front of him, so instead of us following him, he is following us. However, he's still able to drop these bombs on us from up above for some reason. But then again, once you go outside here, he's in front of us again, so what the heck is even going on? I guess it doesn't matter too much because we completed the quest and that is all that counts, right? I think so too. So yeah, not only have we rescued all the guys from Fort Sakai, we have now also... well, secured Fort Sakai. It is ours. So always what we will do is go back to the ghost armor and go back to Fune and tell her the good news. Grab some more supplies from over here. Actually don't need them. That's interesting. So now that we have restocked in manpower, so to speak, it is now time to actually go ahead and draw out the eagle, because apparently she was not in Fort Sakai when we attacked it just now. And this is basically the big battle, or one of the big battles during the main quest, the massacre at Kitafuda village, where, you know, both armies, so to speak, are drawn out, and we'll have this huge show off. It's not quite a dance off. We won't be using the Dance of Wrath this time, but you know, still there's a lot of fighting to be had in just a moment here, once we've actually set up our position.
The lookout tower. We got a good view up there.
Our scouts will lure the Mongols here.
We'll just dismount our horse here. It's a little bit faster than watching the dismount animation. Grab everything that we can from here. Climb the tower and have a look out.
Where should we position the men?
Place them on
So basically how this quest works is we will go from one encounter to the next. We always have to kill all the enemies to be able to continue first.
Set them off.
And this will basically repeat itself a couple of times. And then we will be done, more or less.
Fight people in those houses.
That's the general idea. Now, as speedrunners, obviously, we do want to do this as quickly as possible. So this is where a lot of the RNG in the run actually comes from. Because as I explained earlier, we do have the terrify mechanic, however it is not a 100% chance to actually occur. However, the more enemies you are able to terrify, the less enemies you have to deal with, and the more of your resources like the bombs, explosive arrows and stuff like that you can save, making the next encounters after that easier because you have more tools to work with.
Get everyone in position.
So depending on how all of these encounters go, I can basically lose a lot of time or save a lot of time, and it is basically out of my control. It is just pure RNG. So let's see how the game decides to treat me today.
Strike hard and fast.
If the Mongols overrun us, we'll fall back here.
A group will stay to bolster these defenses.
Fighting on
So we're on our way to the first encounter.
what would he say?
What we want to do first is oh, it's a little bit further actually. Shoot an explosive arrows at the first guys coming in from the right.
Run them down, boys.
And then go over to the left and horse charge through these guys. It didn't exactly work out now, did it? Wanted to hit the big one. Wasn't really able to do that. Ah well, we'll make it work. So now this guy is a little bit away from the pack. Actually, we're able to kill them pretty quickly still though. And now we're on our way over to the second fight, which will happen over here. As you can see, there are more shamans. So they are our priority. The shaman is already fleeing, which is great. Oh, I was actually in the wrong stance. I didn't want to kick that guy. Wanted to stab him. And we have one more spear dude over here. And once these guys are cheering, we know that we've killed all the enemies around here. And now I'm missing my horse. It's actually way over there. What are you doing over there, Nobu? That is not where I wanted to meet you. And now I get the hallucination just before I was able to get on my horse. Like I said, this is just where all the RNG can come into play. Which can be a little bit annoying, but you just have to learn to deal with it, I suppose.
Let's ready a welcome.
Okay, over here, once again, we'll just go ahead and grab all these supplies.
Busy.
And then shoot these explosive barrels. You know, they're red. Obviously, they're explosive barrels. Once the enemies are in range. More explosions to be had over there. And so these two shamans will show up. Kill them. Kill the enemies that appear over here. And then go and deal with the last remaining enemies that our
That's the last of
people were able to kill. And quickly get on the horse in order to show off a glitch. Because I'm on the horse now.
So much blood.
However,
Ground was soaked in
young Jin isn't exactly supposed to be on a horse, which is why he is just, you know, in this riding pose, floating in midair, which is always lovely to see. And then all of a sudden the horse is gone.
Let's go.
Is the horse just a figment of our imagination? Did it actually die? What happened here? Also, that was the wrong horse. This is my horse. Because my horse is amazing! Okay, over there, what we need to do now is the Mongols actually managed to capture some of our people. So we're gonna have to do a sneaky little rescue operation. However, it's not gonna be that sneaky after all, as you will see in just a moment. Once again, horse disappears. We got ghost horse. What I want to do now is I want to throw 3 bombs. However, I want to kinda space them out. So as soon as I hear one bomb explode, I will then throw the next one. Ah, it actually didn't work this time. That's sad. So what I was trying to do there, if you space out your bombs just right, these enemies actually won't spawn in, or rather they will spawn in, but they will immediately get terrified by you know, these other enemies dying. Because as long as if an enemy is outside of the encounter, so to speak, they don't have any aggro or whatever on you, they cannot be terrified. But since these are supposed to spawn in once you get into this encounter, if you can, you know, space out your bomb throws in such a way that these enemies can get terrified, you obviously, you know, save a little bit of time because you don't have to wait for them to actually show up and fight them. Sadly, it didn't happen this time, but, you know, it's just a minor time save anyway. And with that, we have, well, done in the Mongol forces, mostly. So we are on our way to the last fight for this quest, which will happen all the way back there where our fortifications are. We'll just go all the way until we see the saving up in the top corner. Then we'll reload the checkpoint, because what this does is it spawns on the enemies in this little circle pit here. So with one bomb throw, we can take care of a lot of them at once. Because otherwise, you know, they would come in many different waves, which is obviously way too slow for our liking. Then just take care of a couple of the last ones here.
Reinforcements on the way.
Kill them all.
Take care of these guys. I actually do have to kill these two, and then... Oh wait, somebody's still alive. Oh, of course they are. No, they aren't. So once these guys spawn, they actually won't fight you. You can't just run into them. And they will flee from you, and we have won. That was nice and easy. Couple hiccups here and there, but overall that was a pretty good showcase of that quest, I want to say. And with that, believe it or not, but we've already made our way onto the last quest of the Iki Island expansion, the last main quest, and we are nearing the end of the run. Because what will happen now, basically the Mongols are more or less shattered, and we still have to, you know, take care of the rest of them, because we still haven't fought the eagle yet, their leader. So we are going to try and ambush them in Senjo Gorge, and we have to lay down our plans in order to do that. So while I make our way over to the encampment, we will, you know, make our plans. Yeah, see. If you have anything more to plug, this would be an absolutely wonderful time to do so.
Well, I would like to give a quick update. The Super Monkey Ball Deluxe run is happening right after this. And currently, as the bid war stands, Mimi is still in the lead with a $12 advantage over Baby and a $22 advantage over Ai and Gongon.
I wasn't sure you'd show up.
Wasn't sure you
Those are some phenomenal incentives, I want to say. Oh my lord. Alright, we've now made our way over to the camp, and it's time to go and find the eagle. You know, as soon as we basically cut off the head of the snake here, or head of the eagle, I guess is the more appropriate term. Well, the Mongols would be lost, right? If they don't have a leader, they will stop fighting.
Scout spotted the eagle's force.
Is Funa in position?
The canyons are crawling.
So let's see if you can actually find her.
With the Mongols to them.
It's just another, you know, riding session. Just enjoy the scenery for a bit, because this game is just hella gorgeous. If you haven't played this, you absolutely should.
What does she want with a
I mean, it even has, you know, an updated version of the PlayStation 5 if you're lucky to get one of those.
Followers at Fort Sakai said she wants to recruit me.
But even on PlayStation 4, it's just absolutely gorgeous.
It's poisonous to most, but her shamans use it as a rite of passage.
Like, there are a lot of people who just get drowned, or rather, who drown in the photo mode for this game. And I can totally understand why. I was one of those myself for a while, when I played it for the first time. Basically, you know, took a step back, took a photo, like every 5 minutes. Anyway, once Senjo gets off his horse, that's a signal for you to jump off from yours. And we actually don't have to listen to anything those guys have to say. We can just make our way over to the next quest trigger, because just as we arrive there, it should actually pop up. So, let's see. And there it is. Nice. Right on time. And there she is, the eagle. So I guess it's time for our last fight.
I don't see her.
Maybe, maybe not. Let's see.
Move in.
There you are, Lord Sakai.
And before we fight her, let's try and fight some enemies. And what is happening? Oh, this isn't good.
No, not now.
Accept my gift.
Well,
Become
believe it or not, but this is only hallucination.
Poison.
refuse me and you will die here. Just like your father.
She isn't actually here. Tomfoolery. But this shaman is. So let's go ahead and kill that guy. And then, as always, go ahead and take care of the others. Ah, come on. Alright, Mongols defeated. Now we just have to talk to Tenzo again. And we can actually make our way to the last couple battles in the run, which will happen in Senjo Gorge, as explained earlier. And as you can already see, you know, things aren't looking too great over there, because apparently the eagle knew exactly what we were up to and sprung the ambush on us. So all the forces are now fighting for their very survival. So they desperately need some backups from us.
I told her about my father, how you ambushed us at Senjo Gorge.
So she knew your father died there. Then she learned you joined our fight. Heard we were planning something big.
She's one step ahead. We can still win this, Tenzo.
Alright, so let's see if we can actually
They'll overwhelm through them.
make all this happen here. I mean, we should have the means to do so. First of all, we all want to do another horse charge right through these big guys over there. For some reason my horse did not want to go there, which is kind of sad. Because now I probably have to go back in order to kill that brute. Also, Jin did... Can you kill that guy, please? Thank you. Okay, there was the shaman. Excuse me? I attacked you first, sir. Okay, that was all of them.
The bastards came out.
So another thing that will happen now in Senjo Gorge is we will be plagued by more of these hallucinations. And the problem with that is every time one of these hallucinations happens, I lose all of my resolve, which, you know, I need to heal myself or to revive myself should I get downed. So I am basically defenseless whenever I am in these hallucinations. So I can die very easily during these, and that is obviously not something that we want to do.
I'm fine.
So we have to be a little bit careful around here. But more importantly, the eagle will now start haggling us, or just like this. So the only thing that you have to do is you have to hold out against her until they have finished their dialogue. You don't actually have to fight her. So what we do is we just throw sticky bombs at her to stun lock her, so we don't have to actually do anything at this point. So every time she gets up, just throw another sticky bomb at her, wait for the dialogue to finish,
Not a farm boy, but when your father was dead.
and then just get ready until the fight resumes. So you can immediately start fighting these enemies.
Good work. Keep hunting for the eagle.
Okay, one more.
I used to only hear her voice. Now I see her, feel her presence.
Maybe being here makes the visions more intense.
Don't have any bombs anymore. Sad. It is what it is. Put another bomb at the eagle. I'm actually go back here because the shaman with this group tends to be back here somewhere.
And I will give you cold steel.
Jin
And then again, we just wait for the dive to finish once more.
Terror. Your father's dying screams echoed off the canyon.
Until she gets close, throw another bomb.
Let me take away your pain.
I'll send you to hell.
Yeah, there she is. He is, sorry. Nice and easy. Should be the last enemy, I think. It is. And now we've basically killed all the eagle's forces, so the only thing that we all have to do is to actually go ahead and fight the eagle.
The eagle is waiting east of...
Once again, we will switch over to the Sakai armor for that. And the thing, or the way the duel against the eagle works is, it's a two-parter. You get a complete resolve refill at the start of each phase, so to speak. Which is pretty neat, because it means this, once again, isn't a duel, it's a dance-off, right? However, the first and the second part are separated by another hallucination. And during that hallucination, I actually have to go ahead and hit her with a normal attack somehow in order to progress the fight. So now we are on the hallucination, and I have to basically parry one of her attacks like this and hit her. That makes the sword clash happen. That happens now. Then we skip a cutscene. Then we get a full resolve refill. And then we just, you know, show her our dance moves again, and that will be the fight. Sadly, it's a little bit anticlimactic because of the dance of Wrath, but you know, we are speedrunners. Obviously, you want to go fast. And in order to go fast in this game, you dance. And that is the fight. And in order to finish off this run, we have to do a little bit of poetry. You know, we're gonna do some speech haikus. So time will be coming up once we can actually see the Blessing of Death title card for this quest. So, you know, get ready on time. It will happen in a couple seconds here.
Hiding in darkness. My father's hand reaching up. Free at last from life.
So get ready. And... time. That's it, everybody. That is the run. Iki Island New Game Plus of the Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut, played on Lethal Plus difficulty. Just making sure that we actually show that off once more to make it a valid run. Absolutely is. So yeah, thank you guys so much for having me, to the organizers. Have a lot of fun with your on-site event, which is actually a hybrid event, you know, because we also have a online portion, which is actually pretty awesome that I was able to be part of that. Thank you so much to the Ghost of Tsushima Speedrun community. You are an absolutely lovely bunch. Love all of you, and yeah, good luck to the rest of all the runners. Raise some money for charity. We had a few donations come in during the run. Keep donating to the incentives. There are some pretty good ones coming up, as I've heard. And yeah, that is all from me. See you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.